Oak shell tied headbands. Let's get into it. You've already seen the low tide tutorial. Let's go with the high tide. High tide is slightly wider than the low tide headband, but everything else is the same. So let's do ringless. And you want to take the long tail and poke it in through that little buttonhole and pull it out through the fold in the back. And pull it so it's approximately the size of your head, and right now I have it folded to be worn narrow. So place the headband on your head, and then you have the two tails. Tuck the little tail underneath the headband, and you want to take the long tail and tuck it into the back. It is a little bit long for some people, so if you would like to trim it to have less bulk, you absolutely can, and it won't fray. I just folded mine in half. It does seem a little bit bulky, but you can flatten it down pretty well so it's not visible. And there it is popping out of the side. So that is the high tide headband worn narrow. And let's see what it looks like when you want to spread it out wide. So you might have to move the tail out of the way, but then you want to open up the width and make it all the way wide, spread it out on the sides, spread it out through the back, and then open it up on the other side. This makes it completely wide on the sides and the back, which for me helps with the slippage because there's not really much to slip. Wider in the back, wider on the sides. It's a good fit. Nice and comfy and perfect to cover up any of that postpartum hair loss. Take that tail if you want to cover the full head. It makes it so much easier when you're doing it with the high tide since it is wider than the low tide. So you want to just start tucking it all the way around and make sure you don't have any loose hairs poking about, but it is, again, much easier with this high tide version. You may notice that I missed a spot on the top of my head, but again, you can't really tell. If I was in front of a mirror, it would probably be much easier to get that little situation situated. There we go, hair on the lip, get that out of there. Gosh darn it, but there we go, full coverage, high tide headband. Those are two classic ways to use our signature buttonhole on the tide style headband, and I'm gonna show you one quick way to use any head wrap. So you want to put the headband on the base of your head and make sure the sides are evenly spaced. Twist the front and then tuck the ends on the back or the sides wherever they end up landing, and you have the easy way of throwing on a headband for a quick style and go. And then I'm going to show you how to use the tide style headbands with our rings, which are sold separately but completely optional. It does add a fun pop of shine and shimmer depending on what color rings you pick. I'm using the light rose gold, and I'm throwing a pair of rings over the neck of the short tail. Take the tail similar to how you wear it ringless and pop that in through the buttonhole and pull it out towards the back. Tighten it all the way so that it is nice and snug around the rings. There you have the little nubby tail, and you just want to tuck that in on the back and make sure it is behind. You'll see what I'm talking about. So grab the end of the long tail and slip it through both rings, and then you want to take it back over the first ring and under the second ring, and that will create that nice snug belt-like loop. And adjust it to approximately the size of your head, and you'll see that I'm tucking in that little nubby tail behind. There it is, sticking out. Tuck it under so it's not visible. And now I have the long tail. Similar to the ringless version, I want to tuck that into the back. Again, if you think it's too long, you can always trim it. And this is the classic way that we wear the tide style headband with rings. How cute! This is my favorite. I love it. Also, you can cover the rings while wearing it with the rings if you prefer that look. It is more snug and secure than wearing it without the rings, but of course the rings are optional, but this just gives a different look with more secure fit. And then you can also do a full coverage look with the rings. You want to do the same exact technique. I folded the tail because it is too long, but I don't want to trim mine because I never know what styles I can create with a long tail. But I'm just tucking in all the ends, making sure I don't have any stray hairs or empty spaces where the head or hair is showing. And now we have a full coverage look with the little pizzazz of the rings. Let's see what it looks like all the way around. It is perfect for that postpartum hair loss or any hair loss really that you might be suffering. These headbands are so multifunctional. I hope you love them. Thank you for watching.